From the KDLM studios, it's time for Hodge Podge, presented by Partnership for Health and airing on Lakes TV3.
Little before 9 a.m. here on a Tuesday morning. It is Hodge Podge Part 3. And, of course, it's Tuesday. That means Becker County Energize. We are joined via the Zoom studios this morning. Jason McCoy joins us. He is the Tobacco Prevention Coordinator for our four-county area. We also have a retired family physician, Bob Koshnick, with us here this morning. Bob and Jason, good morning. Thanks for being with us on Hodge Podge.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First off, let's talk a little bit about Becker County Energize. What does it mean to you, Jason, and how involved have you been with the tobacco prevention as a coordinator?
Oh, great question. Okay, so for me, I guess to start off with, I'd say Becker County Energize has always represented hope for a healthy change in our community and an opportunity for local community members to affect change in their own town and their own county. So we've fallen in love with the concept of, if you wait for the state, if you wait for the nation, the capital to make a change right here at home, we can be waiting a while. But we have a lot of passionate people here who want to see health for everyone. So it's been just a great partnership to be a part of.
Jason, maybe you can talk about the impact that Becker County Energize has had on tobacco prevention throughout the four-county area.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would limit it, I guess, to Becker County because my work in each county is a little different. And so we've, since the beginning, we were working on Tobacco 21, raising the age to purchase tobacco. From the very beginning, we started in Detroit Lakes. Unfortunately, we didn't get the ordinance passed, but we got to educate a lot of community members. So a lot of adults, a lot of parents became aware of the dangers of vaping through it, and were able to help their kids. So that's been a huge success story there. And then secondarily, just this last fall, the city of Frazee took up a tobacco ordinance to raise the age to purchase to 21 and make a few other changes that would make it more difficult for youth to access tobacco and easier for those who maybe are already using, youth or adult, to be able to quit. And so they passed that here just this past winter, actually, a little bit before the state, of course, passed it as a bill here this summer, and just went into effect on August 1st. But it was really neat to see Frazee step forward ahead of the curve and pass that.
Jason, if you can talk statistically about the difference between 21-year-olds and 18-year-olds and the ability for those kids to go in and buy tobacco.
Statistically, as in how many actually are purchasing? Or
well, I guess more so I'm looking for some information for the public. With this raise to 21, yeah. Obviously you're anticipating this will prevent younger people from getting started with tobacco products.
Absolutely. Okay, so we knew if you were from the youth tobacco surveys that get done and comparing those with Minnesota's adult tobacco surveys, we knew that under 18 were using tobacco at a rate of, on the state average, of around 18%. In Becker County, that was a much higher rate. To give you an example, Frazee, it was 43% of our high school students that were using tobacco products. And when it comes from 18 to 20, well, we can look at our 18 to 24-year-old rates are roughly 22% on state average. And that, of course, again, is higher here in rural Minnesota. So when we look at the potential for impact that a bill like this can actually happen, we're predicting that we will see a change, lowering that percentage. It won't happen all overnight, but we will certainly start bringing that back down towards the state average. And then our hope is even lower.
Jason, let's talk about vaping. It's a double-edged sword, I think, at times. For some folks who smoke, it's a stop cessation smoking device. Yet you see flavors like Tutti Frutti and lemonade, which obviously are appealing to younger kids. So I think there's a fine line in the vaping community because there are those who are using it for one topic, but they're also accessible for younger kids, and that's exactly what we don't want to see.
Right. Okay, so let's hit both sides of that. First of all, I can't take away from the anecdotal evidence that some people went from smoking 2 packs a day to vaping and have made it all the way off of the vaping products. And so they have no tobacco in their system. That's wonderful. Any way that a person can quit is good. But let me also add in that vaping has never been an approved cessation product by anywhere in the world, except for England is the only place where they've done that. And that is because it's trading in one tobacco product for another. Now, there used to be a question that combustible tobacco has tar, right? That's one of the things that, and then of course all the other chemicals we know about it. But a person who had switched to vaping, they would cough that tar up out of their lungs. They would think they were doing something good for themselves, and so they would feel good about that, right? They could actually walk up a set of stairs again, play with their kids. That seemed wonderful. And then we started finding different respiratory illnesses coming in. So just to take us back to September, shortly before we knew about COVID and all the information went that direction, we started having these mysterious chemical burns that were killing people. And these burns were inside the lungs. And we had youth all the way down to teenagers up to those like 70 plus years old who were dying from this mysterious illness that the CDC called a volley, of all things. And so we know now that the answer has been unequivocally made that vaping isn't safer. It actually is still causing this damage in the lungs. And I just read an article actually yesterday where here in Minnesota, we found, I want to say it's roughly 40 new cases of a volley in teenagers that have happened. So it's still dangerous. It's a product that we definitely don't encourage a person to switch from smoking to vaping. Research is still coming in, but the vast majority of it we can now say is that it is still harmful. And ultimately, it is still nicotine. It's still addictive. And then you hit the nail right on the head with flavors. When you have 15,000 flavors out there, there's something for everybody, right? And so certainly I've heard the arguments that adults like flavors too. Sure, I like something that's flavored like strawberry, just like the next person might. But we know that it's an initiation product for kids. When the vast majority are candy and fruit flavors, when you have titles like unicorn poop, I don't know about you, but I've never wanted something unicorn poop flavored in my mouth. These are things that are attractive to our teenagers. And so whenever I work with our high school students, they tell me that, that's the reason. If it was unflavored, they wouldn't try it. If it was a cigarette, they wouldn't pick it up. And so when we look at the millions of teens across America that are now addicted through these products, we know that there's danger.
Also joining us this morning here via our Zoom studios is Bob Koshnick, who's also Bob. It's kind of funny watching your reactions to some of Jason's comments. I'm assuming you feel the same way. Bob, a little bit about yourself and what does Becker County Energize mean to you?
Well, one of the very undeveloped, powerful potential forces for good is community involvement. We tend to defer to national and state where you really can make a difference on a community level. And we haven't developed that. We haven't developed people such as Karen Pfeiffer that have the expertise of coordinating community efforts. And I've been involved with Becker County Energize pretty much from the beginning. And I've been really impressed in its work. Tobacco 21 is just one example. Mental health crisis teams, the opioid grants that we've had, many, many other areas that Becker County Energize has been involved in.
Bob, as a retired family physician, I'm guessing you can talk firsthand as far as some health issues, especially when you see young people using tobacco and how it impacts them as they get older.
Yeah, nicotine's a disaster. It's the most addictive substance we have. Tobacco products kill about 480,000 people a year, but 16 times that number have their health adversely affected by nicotine products. It is so far and away the worst aspect of that impacts the health of our state nation. It's a disaster neurodevelopmentally. Nicotine in pregnancy is a disaster. It's associated with a wide range of mental health and behavioral health problems. And then going straight through this, you were talking about e-cigarettes. That started in China in 2003. It came to America in 2007. And it just exploded as I didn't know it was up to 15,000 flavors. I mean, it just amazes me how many flavors. And the devices are very subtle. You know, they might look like there's all kinds of devices out there that kids use to get addicted.
Jason, I want to pop back to you here for just a second. Obviously, during this COVID-19 pandemic, more people have been under stress. More people are probably at home. For smokers out there, that means increased nicotine use. But when we talk about the mental health for young people, going through the similar things that adults go through during this pandemic, now more than ever, more important to reach out and tell those teens, hey, this is not what you need for stress relief. Go out and ride your bike, go out and play in the sand, go out in the lake and do some fishing. But are you seeing an uptick in cases of use because of COVID-19 with young people?
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. And sadly, yes, we were starting to see that disease I talked about at Volley. Teens were starting to get a little scared. They were starting to put their devices down. And then with COVID, with they don't have a coping mechanism, right? They don't have their friends that they can hang out with. They don't have, I mean, as funny as this might sound, they don't have school. They don't have the stability of it. They don't have sport. They don't, I mean, and yeah, so absolutely, we're seeing more of them come in. I mentioned those new cases. Every single one of them were teenagers. And that's because when they're at home, parents might be at work, working from home, working out of the home. And so there's a lot more opportunity for them to use. And the number one reason I hear from teenagers why they choose to use is usually been anxiety and depression. They're thinking that they can help them. And Bob mentioned nicotine plays havoc with the developmental centers of the brain. And then once addiction takes in, then yes, absolutely. If you have anxiety, if you have depression, it's harder to quit. And so it's easier to use, right? We've always thought about the chain smoking adult if they were nervous, but that same exact thing happens for youth. So yes, I mean, if we can replace that with healthy activities, get your bike out, go for a run, go for a walk, talk to your friends like this. I mean, it's not the same, but at least connect.
Bob, go ahead.
Yeah, basically nicotine addiction's addiction of the youth. 95% are addicted by age 21. Virtually no addiction after age 26 if you haven't smoked by then, or nicotine. And the reason they're threefold. The first is there's a much greater dopamine hit. So nicotine has much greater effect on kids than it does in adults. The second is the brain hasn't developed yet until about fully developed the prefrontal cortex. So they can't connect cause and effect. So they can't think in their mind that if I start nicotine now, what will it mean to my health, 20 years from now? They don't do that. The third thing is peer influence. Youth are affected greatly by their peer influence. If their friends do it and they want to be part of their friends group, so they're influenced by peer pressure. So that's the fact of the matter. If you can get somebody past 21, and we know that it's between 18 and 21 are the people that get the nicotine products for the people under 18. So it's a vicious cycle. So T21 was essential to, and the Minnesota law outlines the penalties and goes in great depth for what the penalties are if you either sell it or buy it or let somebody use your license.
Before we wrap up, I'm going to go back to Jason. Jason, anything else you'd like the public to be aware of? Any information or websites that you want folks to check out? Now would be the chance.
Absolutely. Okay, so if you find yourself addicted and you are looking for help, we have in Minnesota a free program that is designed specifically for our citizens. It's called Quit Partner, and you can find it at quitpartnermn.com. And if you're a youth and you're like, you know what, I don't want to talk on the phone, I don't want to talk to an adult about this, there is a program specifically for you. It's called My Life, My Quit. If you type that into Google, you'll find it. And there you have youth who are trained counselors that can actually talk to you as well and help you because it's hard. We get it. You're getting off a Juul, you're getting off a vape. That's really hard to put it back down. As Bob mentioned, it's the most addictive substance on earth, and there's help for you, and it's free. It's free. I can't say that enough. Take advantage of it. We've already paid for it. And if you're an adult and you're looking to quit, there is free nicotine replacement therapy for you, plus counseling. You put those two things together and you have the best chance of quitting. So absolutely, please reach out and get help.
Bob, anything you'd like to add before we wrap up?
Well, I think we should encourage people to go to the Becker County Energize website, and it provides opportunities for people to get involved with their community, a lot of different volunteer opportunities. The more it's at the community level that we can resolve a lot of the health issues, but we have to encourage and promote and have that as part of our culture, to be involved locally. So I would advise everybody with any interest at all to go to that website.
Jason McCoy, Bob Koshnick, thanks so much for joining us here on our Becker County Energize segment on a Tuesday. Great information, gentlemen. Of course, we'll have this up on our podcast a little bit later on. Jason and Bob, have a great day. Thanks for joining us here today on Hodge Podge.
Thank you.
Thank you.